So we spoke about when it comes to knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أول واجب على عبد معرفة الرحمن بالتوحيد. One of the first obligations upon the slave is to know معرفة الرحمن, referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with his oneness. So this is the first obligation. In fact, the first command in the Quran itself is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And even our creation, what is the purpose of our creation? خَلَقَ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, except that we may worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So today's class, the first thing it mentions is, it talks about the asma wa sifat, the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'll just give you an idea before we delve into some of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whenever you hear somebody's name, Abdul Rahman, we have amongst us, Ar-Rahman is a well-known because it is in the Quran. So there are some names, the scholars have differed. Like if your name is Abdul Baqi, the scholars will take, a lot of them will take the position, the hadith that they take from is a weak narration. Like Abdul Jalil, again, this is a name that they will say, no, this is not from the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do have Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, so that is one of the things you find in the Quran. Inna Allah Jameel wa yuhibbul Jamal. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, so this is in the hadith. So when it comes to the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if it's a noun, a clear noun that is in the Quran, like Kareem, it's a name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Latif, again a noun, a name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khabir, all of these things that you found in the noun forms, if you're asking what is a noun, name, place, and things. But if you find it in this form, it is agreed upon, this is from the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now there are some verbs that are in the Quran. Now this is where the scholars have differed. Some of them have taken the names and some of them obviously, look, anything negative, i.e. when you find the word وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ. Now makr is not something generally looked at in a positive way. We don't want to have, we do not call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as makir. So this is not a name. So anything that is positive is what is usually attributed to the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In terms of nouns, anything that is clear, we affirm it. And some of the verbs, obviously, this is where some of the scholars have differed. As I mentioned, Abdul Baqi and Abdul Jalil, these are the ones the scholars have actually said no, even some of the ones may have been based off weak narrations. So inshallah, once I've given you that foundation, before you name your boys, or boys in this case, you want to make sure that it is from the names, affirmed names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before we name our children. So the first thing inshallah wa ta'ala is, I want to start with this line. This one. Okay. أنه الرب الجليل الأكبر الخالق الباري. Now these two names are very similar in meaning. Very similar in meaning. Ar-Rabb, obviously, whenever you find in the Quran, قُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Now the word Rabb is also in the Arabic language, if you say Rabb al-Bayt, it's referring to the man in the house. So the word, if it is used just as Rabb, then obviously this can be a person, a Lord. You can use it as a Lord. But when you say Ar-Rabb, it's referring only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this case, this is an affirmed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ar-Rabb is only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the first thing that we're going to talk about. Al-Khaliq al-Bari. Al-Khaliq, obviously, he is the creator. Khaliq al-Makhluqeen, he is the creator of all the creations. Same thing, al-Bari. Mubdi al-Khalq, he's the one who starts. So it is almost the same in meaning, but he is the one, Ijad, he's the one who founded or started all of the creations. Very close in meaning. Bari al-Baraya, this is a statement, it's not the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bari al-Baraya, he's the one who started Munshi al-Khalaq, to basically establishing all the creations. So two names we take from, first one is Al-Bari, and the other one is Abdul Bari, this is where we get the name from. And the other one is Al-Khaliq. Khaliq, which is again strictly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one Mubdi'uhum bila mithal. سابق الأول. So there is no comparison when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, another name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Awwal is the first. Al-Awwal is the first. And another name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Mubdi bila ibtida. He is somebody who does not have a start. So whenever we refer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not have a start, He does not have an end. Wal-Akhir, Al-Baqi. Al-Baqi is just to affirm that He is the one who is going to remain. But two names that is affirmed, Al-Awwal, Al-Akhir. The first and the last. So bila ibtida wa la intiha. He does not have a start, He does not have an end. Again, Al-Khaliq, we confirm that He is the creator, Al-Bari, Al-Awwal, Wal-Akhir. So He is all of these things. Al-Ahad, Qul huwa Allahu Ahad. Again, a name that is in the Quran. Al-Ahad is used in the noun form. So Al-Ahad, singling out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one. Al-Fard, Al-Qadir, Al-Azali, Al-Samad. So we'll start with this line and we'll summarize everything before. Today I'll just give you like a foundation. Al-Qadir is basically who's able, Wallahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. He's able to do all things. I.e., remember one thing, we say this whenever, unfortunately the people today, they will say, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to do all things, why can't He come in the form of a man? Because this is one of the shubuhat the Christians, they will throw at you. Remember, when it comes to creations, we have imperfection. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from His perfection, He will never do something like this. I.e., you negate any form of imperfection from Him, and you affirm anything that is perfect. So when you say As-Samad, He is free of any needs, and He is self-sufficient, He is absolute, and it is the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who are actually in need of Him, and He is not in need of Him. So when you say He is going to become, let's say He has to come in the form of a human, then you are negating the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His inner quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we as humans, we have imperfection. So when we deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we negate anything that is imperfect, and we affirm only when it comes to kamal sifat, when it comes to completeness in His names and attributes. So Al-Qadir, He's able to do all things. Obviously He is perfect. And As-Samad, He is eternal, He is absolute, and He does not need anyone, and He is complete in and of Himself. So once you understand that name itself of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these questions, you will automatically know how to at least answer some of these shubuhat. When we deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we give Him the best names, and obviously He has the best qualities. Now this is not something that I can come up with. I cannot come up with a name. Any name we come up with, it has to go back to either the Quran or the Sunnah. One of the name examples I mentioned, Inna Allah Jameel wa yuhibbul Jamal. This is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. But they derive the name Al-Jamal from the Sunnah. And some of the things we mentioned today is from the Quran that is found. Now, As-Samad is not found anywhere else except in Surah Al-Ikhlas. It is not found anywhere else except in Surah Al-Ikhlas. So, Al-Bar, Al-Muhaymin, Al-Ali. These three names require some explanation. So, I'm going to stop here for today. That one, I might have to spend some time, but I want to just summarize all the names we took today. So the first thing that we took, Al-Bari and Al-Khaliq, very close in meaning, and He is the one who created all of us. Al-Bari is the one who started all of us. The next one is Al-Awwal, Al-Akhir. Now why are these two names very important? Again, it goes back to some of the shubuhat that people throw out. Some of the atheists obviously. And in fact, there's a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ mentions, if shaitan comes to you, who created this? Who created this? Who created this? And you say Allah and Allah, then you'll get a shubha saying, who created Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So this goes back to Allah is Al-Awwal and Allah is Al-Akhir. There is nothing above Him. He is the creator, He is the first, and He is the last. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He is going to destroy all of us, when basically causes all of the creation to pass away, who is going to remain is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to understand these two names, al-Awwal, al-Akhir. So once you get that, there is no question of who is above, who is above. No, He is the highest, and He is the one who has given life to everything that we see around us. He is al-Khaliq, and He is al-Bari. And the last name, al-Samad, every single one of us, we are in dire need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of us because of His completeness and because of His perfection in and of Himself. I'll stop here because if I take the last three names, we'll be sitting here for some time. Inshallah ta'ala, hopefully this was useful. This will help you, inshallah, in your worship, especially when it comes to certain names like Al-Muhaymin, Al-Ali, Al-Bar. And I want to spend some time with those three names. So if you have any questions, we'll stop. Or no questions, it's pretty straightforward. Okay. Subhanallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka. Jazakumullahu khairan.